The programs that we have with JCCC, either with the nurses group, the dental group, or the child development group, have helped the community to develop faster.
It's really impossible to replicate this experience in a classroom. And so the learning that takes place through this project is, I think, a lifelong lesson that they'll carry with them all the days of their lives.
Nursing is so much more than just a physical science, and students go deeper. We all do.
I'm taking so much more home with me than I gave. The generosity of this community has just blown me away.
This has just been the most wonderful experience I've ever had.
It's the last day of May. Many of the students and graduates of Johnson County Community College are well into their summer plans, but a select few are preparing for a journey. They'll be traveling to a small town in Mexico, where they'll spend a week of their lives serving a community. This is the first of 2 Las Pintas teams, named after the town of their destination. The group will actually be focusing on a neighborhood within Las Pintas called Santa Rosa. Each year, volunteers make the journey from Overland Park, Kansas to Santa Rosa as part of a service learning project. Their goal is to aid an impoverished community in the areas of healthcare, prevention, and education, and at the same time enhance their own learning experience. This group is made up of a dental hygiene team and a smaller childhood development team. Mirrors and fluoride are carefully packed alongside books and toys. They'll also be bringing along their own hopes and expectations.
I'm excited just to get down there and see the culture and the people. I've heard really great things from the past groups that have gone about the people there. From what I hear, we work pretty hard while we're down there, so being able to see that many patients in a day and physically get to clean teeth and just that whole thing for me will be a big benefit.
I'm excited just because it's something new for me, and I think it's going to be a challenge, but if I can get through it in Spanish down there, then I'll feel a lot more confident about teaching here. And yeah, nervous. I'd be nervous about the Spanish.
Guadalajara, the second largest city in Mexico, birthplace of tequila and mariachi music, a cultural and historical center where thousands come each year to shop, pray, and celebrate life. Just 10 miles south of Guadalajara lies the town of Las Pintas, a town whose residents work the lines of Guadalajara's assembly plants. Within that town lies a neighborhood, a young neighborhood struggling to find its footing. This is Santa Rosa, the largest of the 4 Las Pintas neighborhoods, and at 20 years old, the youngest. This is a special place where many from the region have come for a new beginning. Many others spend a week of their lives here to find their own new beginning. And this is a place where 2 people have found their life calling. Dr. Carmen Rodriguez co-founded the Centro Integral Comunitario in the mid-1990s. While working as a medical doctor in Guadalajara, she coordinated a federal education program reaching 5 states. It was then that she and others made the decision to concentrate their efforts on a community in need.
I was seeing just very close to me all the situation of Mexico, the reality of Mexico when the people don't have the opportunities that other people have. So, and when I visited Santa Rosa, the community was starting at the same time. People were trying to move in from the city, from other cities of Mexico, to improve their way of living and searching ways to work. So we decided to have, in order to help these people, we needed to have a physical place that will help them out and encourage them to find opportunities for them that were there for them.
That place became the Centro Integral Comunitario, or CIC, a focal point for community health and education.
El Centro Integral Comunitario nos ha ayudado a la comunidad en muchas formas. Una de ellas es motivando a los jóvenes y ver que se puede superar. Y cuando vienen las brigadas, el detectar gente que no puede salir de sus casas o que no tiene las posibilidades económicas para ir a un consultorio médico. Y he visto que ha cambiado su vida.
The CIC lies at the heart of what would become known as the Las Pintas Project, and is a place that dozens of volunteers from a community college in Kansas would come to know as their second home. It's Sunday afternoon, and the team has just arrived at CIC. For the veterans of the project, it's a reunion with old friends. After unloading, the group immediately goes to work, setting up the dental and preschool areas. Both teams will work side by side all week, seeing dozens of children and hundreds of patients.
When we host the group of dental group and the child care group, they work from 9 o'clock in the morning till actually after 10 in the evening, the dental group. The people from the community is the only opportunity they have to receive dental health. So the dental group do have a lot of patients waiting for them already when they arrived. And for the child care group, they give assistance to children from preschool, from ages 2 to 6 in the mornings every day, and in the afternoons for older children in elementary groups. And 2 days of the week, they give a course to the mothers of these children. So they're very busy all day long.
The next morning, the clinic opens. While the dental team will perform a variety of procedures, the goal is simple: prioritize the patients and see as many as possible. The dental hygienists take brief medical histories. Patients with pain usually see the dentists first. The group must adapt to their new environment quickly. The comfort and familiarity of their lab in Kansas does not exist here. Dentists perform procedures in the patio. Dental hygienists perform cleanings in lawn chairs. But to the patients, it's a luxury, and one that only comes once a year.
Sería pobre la situación, porque ahorita con el centro comunitario están ayudando a las becas, a muchos niños de escasos recursos. También están ayudando con medicinas, están haciendo un aporte muy extenso. Entonces, si no estuvieran ellos, sería muy pobre la situación.
In Santa Rosa, space is at a premium, and both teams work side by side. Children, ages 2 through 6, are being enrolled in the preschool. This is a time when the volunteers and the children will get to know each other. They only have a week, and they'll feel the pressure to see and help as many people as possible. What they won't see, after they have left, is the lasting impact of their visit to this community.
Outside of the school program that we run there during the week that we're there, and outside of the dental hygiene clinic that we run for the week we're there, I think we bring down a sense of hope for the people that are in the community, and we bring down a lot of resources with us. We bring a lot of manpower down to the project, and it kind of energizes the community. They see us coming down from the States, working on this project and taking time and resources and energy to make it happen, and I think it revitalizes the community, I think, on an annual basis, and I think they have become more motivated by that to do things for themselves and to maybe start some grassroots kind of projects that they can do and follow through with. And I really think it's been this element of hope, again, that we bring to the project, and that's really had a wearing off effect for the people in the community. There wasn't really an opportunity for them to even see a dentist in this community because there wasn't one in the community. The preschool program, the program they bring down there and run for that week, nothing like that exists in this community. We bring down art supplies, and we bring down music pieces and very creative learning experiences for these kids. Nothing exists like that in the community. They don't have the resources for it.
And in the 10 years since this partnership began, the community has gotten accustomed to the JCCC visits, which are now considered a twice-yearly part of their lives.
A parent came up to me about the 3rd year I was there and said, "My son has waited all year for your school. He is so excited." And in the back of my mind, I think, Well, it's very sad that he has to wait a year to have school for 5 days. And so that told me a lot right there. They need programming for kids. They want to learn by, lots of experiences, and that isn't available in the early childhood arena there at all. And so the kids are at home doing jobs and taking care of things, and when a parent said that to me, I just knew that that was the value. Their children are going to benefit by 1 week of school.
Dr. Rodriguez's friend and CIC co-founder, Martha Medina, is a chemical engineer who worked for years in the area of technical education at Mexico's federal level. It was there that she met Dr. Carmen Rodriguez, and the idea for the CIC was born. Martha's in charge of the CIC's educational program. She also facilitates the testing which determines the CIC's annual scholarship recipients.
Me gusta mucho ayudar en todo lo que tiene que ver con la educación, con la formación educativa de la comunidad. Estoy encargada de todo el programa de cursos, entrenamiento y capacitación de las personas que están involucradas con nosotros para la comunidad.
There is actually a third group of volunteers in Santa Rosa. Not mentioned as often as the healthcare or childhood workers, they are truly the unsung heroes of the Las Pintas Project. They are the interpreters, and without them, much of what happens here would not be possible. Father Brendan Helbing is explaining proper tooth care to a patient. As one of only 3 interpreters on this trip, his skills are in high demand.
I like being able to help, if I can, in some little way down there. Luz and Lynn, as professors, they're more fluent than I am, so if they allow me, I try to stay close to the dental hygiene team, and they take on the more challenging positions there.
The Las Pintas Project allows students and volunteers to experience the core components of service learning, such as community service and reflection. The dental hygienists will see hundreds of patients in the CIC compound, but they'll also have a chance to go into the community. Remote screenings are held throughout the neighborhood, offering residents a chance to get screened without having to travel to the compound. A benefit not only for the community, but for the volunteers who come here. By seeing people in their homes, they develop a deeper understanding of their hosts' lives and culture.
I really wanted to be involved. I like the idea of meeting people, seeing other parts of the world, ultimately helping people that deserve quality dental treatment that just aren't fortunate enough to have the access. The limited access that they do have to those type of services is unfortunate, so I'm hoping that I can help with the dental hygiene knowledge that I have so far.
When I went out on screenings, it was pretty heartbreaking to kind of see how people lived in their houses, and it kind of looks like they're poor, but I know that they're living well for themselves. So it's just kind of hard to see the difference between how we live and how they live.
These remote screenings are facilitated by a special group from within Santa Rosa, the Health Promoters, a group of mostly female volunteers who've decided to take a more active role in the health of their community.
Pues como que hay satisfacción personal porque puedes ayudar a otras personas y pues a uno mismo, ¿verdad?
Me involucré porque me gusta apoyar y oír los temas que imparte la doctora Martita.
The Health Promoters are essential to this project. They facilitate awareness in an area that is severely lacking of resources. It is through the promoters that the community knows about and anticipates the arrival of the JCCC teams.
Pues a mí se me hacen que ha sido muchos beneficios porque simplemente, o sea, pues en el año ya vienen pues brigadas de allá de Estados Unidos y hay atención médica para todas las personas y por lo de las becas también para los niños.
In a community of 20,000 people, raising the standard of living is an enormous task. But the arrival of the JCCC teams each year does provide a boost. the result of a fortuitous meeting between Dr. Rodriguez and Carolyn Cadell, JCCC's program facilitator for international education.
In 1996, I went to Guadalajara to a conference that was sponsored by the Partnership for Service Learning. And as part of that conference, they took us around to different sites in and around Guadalajara where students were working in service settings. And so the one that I ended up with, quite accidentally, was Las Pintas. And it was there that I met Dr. Carmen and Martha Medina and saw what they were doing. And at that time, it was pretty much just a lot with a lot of mud and a small building. But they were doing some very special things there, and I knew there was some special energy there. And the project grew from that.
And we started to correspond after that, and there was an opportunity for this service learning program with JCC.
Over time, the partnership continued to grow. Just a few years after the first trip, the college began sending 2 teams per year. One group composed of dental hygiene and early childhood development teams. The other, known as the Health Brigade, composed of approximately 30 nursing students, respiratory care students, and professors.
Pues son muy buenos equipos, trabajan muy duro, son pues gente muy profesional, pues que sí, que tienen muy buen servicio para toda la gente.
Pues yo he visto muchas mejoras, tanto en la comunidad como en mi familia. Nos da mucho gusto que sigan viniendo los de la brigada, porque nos enseñan cosas que nosotros no sabemos.
With so many people in need, the pressure to complete daily workloads is constant. Typically, this results in some very long days for the dental group.
Sometimes we have to work past 9. Sometimes we get to work past 9. We don't have to, but we get to because there's somebody that really needs something, and it's not like an extra effort because it's a privilege to be able to do it, and they've waited all that time and they really appreciate it a lot. We do extractions, sometimes fillings. A lot of extractions, though, get people out of pain. The dental hygiene students do a lot of cleanings, and sometimes when there's not extractions, we'll do cleanings too. And the people wait in the heat and the sun, and hard extractions, sometimes the extractions take 2 to 3 hours because we don't have all the equipment that we do in the States, and they're so patient, and they're so understanding, and so strong. It's amazing how strong they are.
Today, part of the dental team is conducting a screening in downtown Las Pintas. The CIC maintains a healthy relationship with the municipal government.
Our working relationship with the government, the municipal government, is a very good relationship. We do not receive any financial support from them, but we do receive logistic support in our programs, or when the JCC groups are in the community, they offer security and they offer the transportation.
Pues siento que habría mucha más necesidad porque pues sí, el apoyo que nos están brindando es muy necesario y se está atendiendo mucho más gente de la que no se atendería normalmente, ¿verdad?
One of the main tenets of the CIC is to remain sensitive and flexible to the changing needs of Santa Rosa. When the CIC project began nearly 15 years ago, the initial focus was on healthcare and prevention. Over time, the importance of education became more evident, and the focus began to shift.
Well, at first, we tried to do it like more in a health area, a medical area, instead of educational area for the community of Santa Rosa. But as we started out with the people and working with them, we saw the need of education is imperative in order to break the circle of poverty. The lack of education wouldn't be helpful for them to gain either health or other opportunities. So education has been our main concern now.
The people of Santa Rosa are also placing a higher value on education. At times, the CIC seems like an oasis against the dusty background of Santa Rosa. an idea reinforced by the sight of children playing in a safe and stimulating environment. But this is not a daycare, and what looks like playtime is actually a set of exercises that have been carefully chosen by the childhood development team. They typically have several meetings before their trip. Each team member decides upon activities which will stimulate physical, social, emotional, and intellectual development. And each student has one day in which they're in charge of all activities. The ultimate goal of the educational program is to break the cycle of poverty in this community, and stimulation of the children's young minds is a crucial first step. The Childhood Development Week, along with the scholarship program, do seem to be making a difference. Since the project began, illiteracy rates have fallen. The hope is that over time, a cycle of education will emerge. One interesting fact about this community may help to contribute to this. All residents of Santa Rosa own their own homes. This means a greater chance that strong investment in education will cycle through to future generations.
When we started out here, our first survey, we found out that 85% of the adults that were living here in Santa Rosa were illiterate. 2 years ago, we redid the survey, and we found out only 50% of the adults are illiterate. Also, when we started, not all the people that were living here were owners of their land. And now 100% of the inhabitants of this community own their place where they live. So that will gives us a reason to continue our programs here. Because if we work out with the children, with education, it will stay here for the community. They will have better ways of living. And they haven't improved. In this 10 years, we have seen that improvement. So it's just right there in your eyes. You can see that improvement.
This morning, a small part of the JCCC team is giving fluoride treatments at a local school. In a country that lacks fluoridated water, these treatments go a long way towards the reduction of cavities. All of the CIC's patients receive fluoride treatments, but most in Santa Rosa do not. They don't have the access. The plan for this morning is to administer fluoride treatments to as many children as possible. Performing the treatments on a school site makes the task a little easier.
La comunidad ha cambiado en el aspecto de que se sienten más apoyadas, sienten que hay un lugar a donde poder acudir cuando tienen algún problema. De las brigadas, pues lo que más nos gusta es la forma de trato que tienen, un trato tan cálido, tan amable, que como siendo dos naciones tan diferentes, en ese momento nos sentimos, aunque no hablamos el mismo idioma, pues sentimos que nos están apoyando, que nos estiman, que lo hacen todo con afecto. Y eso pues yo creo que a quien no le gusta sentirse bien tratado.
Another important component of the Childhood Groups Week is the counseling session with the mothers in the community. This is a time to ask questions and share stories. The mothers in this community encounter all of the problems of their counterparts in the United States. But without shelters, hotlines, or basic awareness, their problems are compounded. And while it's rare that a solid solution is discovered, these women do learn some helpful guidelines. And through their participation in this process, they've established a basic support network.
The sessions are, especially the moms ask the members of the group of the area, the children educational area, about how they could benefit or help out their kids going to school. But it's not only like a parent session, but it's also a session for themselves to help them grow as mothers. And they do help, give them a lot of support to them. How to discipline their children, how to listen to their children in a different manner, in different approaches.
With only one more workday remaining, the dental group is feeling the pressure. There are still many patients to see, and no one will be turned away.
We had a little girl the other day that had an extra tooth in the roof of her mouth, and she was embarrassed to go to school, and she didn't want to go to school, and they were really hard injections in the front. Those are really tough to take, and she didn't cry, she didn't move, she just wanted that tooth taken out so bad, and it's really tough for a little girl to sit there, not flinch, not cry, nothing, because she wanted that tooth out so that she'd look normal for school and the kids wouldn't make fun of her. All those things are just, you know, really special.
It's really impossible to replicate this experience in a classroom, and so the learning that takes place, you know, through this project is I think a lifelong lesson that they'll, you know, carry with them all the days of their lives. And I've had situations before in the past where students have decided to change their majors to go into, whether it be nursing or dental hygiene or education or social work, because they've been able to help people in a different way, you know, through this project. And I always tell students that you really can't go down there and not be affected by this. It's going to have an impact on you. And again, I think the impact is a lifelong impact. They come back and they see themselves as part of a larger world, and many have never had a chance to travel outside the country before. Many students have never had a chance to see poverty up close and personal, and so that's a profound, you know, impact on them too. And I think it just opens their eyes up to a larger world that's out there, and to realize just how fortunate they have it.
Uno, dos, tres.
Whiskey! Uno, dos, tres. Whiskey!
The week culminates with a scholarship ceremony. The presence of the mayor and other officials of Las Pintas serve to underscore the importance of the event. Each year, students from elementary level through college level have the opportunity to apply for a CIC scholarship. They take an exam which measures their aptitude in math and language. The students with the highest score receive a monetary award. Many families will use this award to further their children's education through the purchase of books, shoes, and uniforms.
El programa de las becas nos ayuda a solventar un poco nuestra situación sobre los hijos. O sea, es una ayuda económica que se nos haga menos difícil el pago de los estudios de los hijos.
Mónica Viridiana Jacobo Alfaro.
Esa beca me sirvió porque en ese tiempo sí tenía más necesidad. Por ejemplo, tenía 1 o 2 libros y me ayudó a pagar eso y a pagar mi uniforme de físico, que ya me urgía, pues que ya lo tenía que tener. Pues sí me ayudó mucho porque tenía necesidad.
El college.
It's the team's last night in Santa Rosa. Their hosts are throwing a party, and there's much to celebrate. The dental hygiene team treated approximately 700 people. 350 children from the community received fluoride treatments. 65 children attended the preschool and elementary age sessions. The people of Santa Rosa received services necessary to the health and vitality of their community. And the JCCC students, through their participation in this project, have grown. Working in a real-world setting like Santa Rosa has given their studies a human face, and their experiences are likely to remain a part of who they are, both in their lives and in their future careers.
I think just the end of the week, just kind of the last day, you realize it all comes together and you realize what a difference you made. And just, I mean, one hug from one kid just says it all, just the look on their face. And yeah, you know what you did made a difference to them.
Just the children in general just stood out. They had such a great time, and it was heartwarming to me.
I hope that I can come back next year. I had a great experience and I'd like to keep doing it.
There were several kids that had the fluorosis and dark stains across their teeth, and Dr. Chris was able to put composites over them, and it made them really happy because they could smile more and not get made fun of. That really stood out to me.
I want to mention that I enjoyed talking to these women. The women in this community are remarkable. They are really very brave under the circumstances they live in, and I enjoyed how they got together and networked to find solutions.
This has just been the most wonderful experience I've ever had.
Well, we'll quickly go around and do names then.
It's mid-January, and the 2nd Las Pintas team is having a retreat. This is the Health Brigade, a group of nearly 30 nursing and respiratory care students, professors, and interpreters. Their journey is still 2 months out, but with such a large group, preparation is even more important. They'll have a total of 4 meetings before their trip.
The Health Brigade is very different because it doesn't take place on CIC, on the installations of CIC, as a dental and child care group does.
Well, our focus is primarily to work with the volunteer health promoters in the community, and they take us into their different neighborhoods, and we check blood pressures and blood glucose, and also just ask them what types of health problems that they're having. And then many of them we refer back to the clinic at CIC, trying to get them on a medical regime that would be beneficial to them, but also one that they can continue with once we leave as well.
As with the dental and childhood groups, the brigade will be bringing much needed supplies, from medicine and glucose meters to clothing and toys. And while they share a common goal, the project affects each team member in different ways.
I hadn't ever planned on doing nursing, so the first year I went down there and got to see all these students doing what they love and really getting to see firsthand what my mom was able to do opened my eyes to nursing, and that's really why I'm in nursing school, is because of Las Pintas.
I'm also excited to be part of this group. I think it's a great opportunity, and it's a good opportunity to, I think, give to a community. I mean, there's something, I think, rewarding to the soul about that.
I'm nervous about leaving my family because I've never been away from them. I'm nervous about not speaking any Spanish, so I'm nervous.
It's nearly impossible to prepare someone for the poverty they'll encounter in Santa Rosa. Many of the basic services taken for granted in the United States, or Guadalajara for that matter, simply do not exist here.
En una zona marginada como en la que trabajamos, la comunidad, la mayoría, está fuera de competencia por no haber tenido oportunidades en educación.
There's not enough schools in Santa Rosa for the population to assist. We only have 2 elementary schools, 1 preschool, and there's 1 middle school, but there's no higher school education close by. It doesn't encourage teenagers to continue to study. They do want to just join the labor force to work. And health-wise, also the same thing. There's no hospitals in Santa Rosa. The closest one is about by bus, because this is the transportation that the people have. It will be 2 hours away. The people from Santa Rosa, the opportunities are very far away from them. So the opportunities have to be help them to bring them down to the community.
Nearly 12 hours after meeting at Kansas City International Airport, the team has arrived. If they're exhausted from their trip, they don't show it. They immediately go to work, organizing supplies for the following week.
The volunteers that come from JCCC to Las Pintas, they come with an open heart to service. The community has a sense of support, and also the students, they are also aware of the needs of others. They grow personally and professionally with this common giving and receiving, reciprocity.
The brigade has 6 days of work ahead of them, but their week will begin with a bit of Mexican culture. One of the schools in Santa Rosa is celebrating Spring Festival, and the volunteers can't resist the photo opportunity.
Just having this experience, working with individuals of a different culture, appreciating that, and kind of, just being immersed in the culture, I think helps you with how you live your life and what's important to you.
After the school celebration, the work begins. Some members of the team are veterans. For others, it's their first time here. But in Santa Rosa, you're only a rookie your first day, and the newest members of the team quickly step into their roles. Team members take medical histories and ask patients about anything that may be pertinent to their health. Other team members measure blood pressure, blood glucose, and heart rate. Patients with special needs are referred back to the CIC clinic.
Yo tengo una muy buena impresión de ellos porque hay muchas familias en esta colonia que no tienen los recursos para atenderse, aunque sea mínimo una prueba de diabetes. Y al venir ellos aquí, se acercan más a las personas con mayor necesidad y ahí descubren sus enfermedades y pueden seguir atendiéndoselas en el centro integral.
They're definitely a group that want to serve. They're taking their spring break, and there's just usually the most of them that interview for this have said, this is something I've always wanted to do, but never really had the time or the opportunity to do it. And so when they hear about it, they become interested.
Through education and the annual visits of the JCCC teams, the people of Santa Rosa are learning how to prevent disease and take better care of themselves. And the volunteers who come here are becoming better caregivers. But it's not just the on-the-job skills training. A large part of their growth this week comes from their relative isolation. This is no classroom, and there is no answer key. The students must rely on themselves and all of their training up to this point.
We do see in the students an increase in their confidence because when we're out in the community doing health assessments, we don't have all of the fancy equipment that we're used to in our environment to address whatever the problems are or the concerns. We have to really rely on our assessment skills and listen to what the patient says and kind of put the pieces together with less technology. But we've also learned that we're it. I mean, there's nobody else that's going to come alongside and say, yeah, that was a right assessment. You need to, you're the final word. And so it really does raise the skill level and the confidence of the healthcare providers that are in training.
This morning, a group from JCCC has traveled to the Brickyards, an extremely poor colony located on the outskirts of Santa Rosa. One of the biggest benefits of having such a large group is outreach. Something as simple as a blood glucose check could determine diabetes. But there are many here who don't realize that they have this disease. And hypertension, a condition that seems to run hand in hand with diabetes, often goes unnoticed here. There are many people in this community who cannot travel to the CIC, and as a result, have no access to medical attention of any kind.
Cuando vienen, pues cada año sí detectan alguna enfermedad en algunos pacientes. Como ellos no saben que están enfermos, entonces como que les hacen el del diabetes y sí hay gente que sí ha salido enferma del diabetes, que no sabe la gente que estaba enferma y a veces sí necesitamos que nos digan porque uno no sabe, entonces luego no se atiende uno y ya viniendo las brigadas pues lo dicen a uno que ya está enfermo y uno ya se atiende y sí sirven las brigadas que vengan.
Carmen Maldonado's husband, Tonio, is one of the CIC's 2 male health promoters. A rarity in Santa Rosa, Tonio was motivated to become involved after witnessing the JCCC volunteers firsthand.
cuando vi que ustedes apoyaban a la comunidad, lo que vi que en mi área de trabajo, las personas que yo conocía que se dedican a la producción de ladrillo, vi que había mucha enfermedad, pero más que todo somos muy decidiosos. Mientras nos sintamos bien, no le damos importancia a las enfermedades. Veo a los americanos y les tengo un especial respeto. Los miro y pues los admiro por esa lucha que hacen ustedes. Sobre todo, un día aquí las doctoras comentaban que muchos de los doctores que vienen aquí o enfermeras lavan carros, hacen rifas y que por sus propios medios juntan los recursos para venir. Y yo me puse a pensar, si ellos vienen de tan lejos para podernos dar algo de ellos, nosotros ¿por qué no hemos de perder no es perder, sino de dedicar un tiempo a ustedes para que la obra se lleve a cabo, el propósito que ustedes tienen?
A large part of the brigade's preparation involves how to properly conduct screenings. But in recent years, the focus has begun to shift towards educating the local health promoters. The JCCC teams are only here for a combined total of 2 weeks, but the health promoters are here year-round. This is their home, and the greatest chance for improved health in this community lies with them.
The sky is the limit with this community because they have blown me away with what they've accomplished so far. I think as I go down each year, my emphasis turns less to the people of the communities in general and more to the health promoters. And I see our role as really supporting their efforts because they're the ones who are there year-round. And so I would like to see their skill level and their education increased and the support that they receive increased so that they can be more effective in reaching their neighbors. And honestly, I see this community, which when we went there was in dire need of so many things. I'd like to see this community start reaching out more to communities around them.
And that's starting to happen. The system in Santa Rosa is helping people, and other communities are starting to notice. Today, the volunteers have traveled to Isla Huacan, a city some 20 miles away. Their hosts are trying to establish a similar system with their own health promoters, and this is their chance to see the brigade in action.
This year, another nonprofit organization asked for our help. They like the model that we have to improve the quality of life of these people of this community. So we took a group from the nursing team there to their community, did some screening there, and so possibly they do want to kind of have the same model that we have, assisting their own community.
One of the creeds of the brigade, what they call touchstones, is the concept of no fixing. The volunteers must remind themselves that they are not here to band-aid any problems. Their job is to empower and educate. This presents challenges to everyone involved. For the healthcare providers, the urge to fix is constant. And while this concept is aimed at self-empowerment, it places even more responsibility on the health promoters. But it's a challenge they welcome. This afternoon, the promoters have come for a class at CIC. This is their chance to learn better techniques in caring for their children.
What we kind of started realizing a couple of years ago is that we needed to have the health promoters learn more about what we're doing when we're there. And certainly as we could teach them how to take blood pressures and monitor blood sugars if they were interested in learning. And although I think that CIC could have done that, I think the resources are so limited. And we were able to do that with the number of people that we have. And I think also the interest. I think us being down there raises that awareness and the interest in the community. And so I think that they've been more interested in learning about it.
While on their way to the next screening, this group is stopped by Nabor Mendez. His job is preventing him from attending any of the screenings, so he insists on a screening right now. This is just one of many indications that the system in Santa Rosa is working. The people in this community, more and more, are taking the initiative.
Our hopes for the community of Santa Rosa is that the people each day grow in awareness and they do reach their goals in common and they'll be more united and do have more ability to continue and to grow by each family at a time and improve their well-being.
While these remote screenings are free, the follow-up medical treatment is not. This is not charity, and the CIC does charge for all medical services, but the cost is minimal, in some cases as little as a few pesos. The real purpose of charging the patients is to allow them to retain their dignity, which may not happen if the services are perceived as charity.
This is an area that I've really grown in. In the past, I've been involved in missions trips for different things, and we've gone to give services to the people. And I never saw anything wrong with that, and certainly there's a place for it. But Dr. Carmen Rodriguez, who's the one who started all of this, she has shared with me her philosophy that if you give services and give health care to people, while you may help their health or give them a Band-Aid, you've robbed them of their dignity. And she is a huge proponent of coming alongside people and helping them find ways to improve their health themselves rather than coming in and fixing it and leaving. And it really makes a profound difference. They are the ones who are responsible for their own health, and they are the ones who are responsible for the health of their community and getting the word out.
One key objective of any service learning project is reflection. This allows students to process and evaluate their experience, as well as the effect of their work on others.
Everyone participates in giving service down there, but what's important with service learning is that you have the opportunity to reflect on it, and so that you can learn about the critical thinking component of the experiences that you have. So reflection sessions and teaching students and members of the group how to reflect is that opportunity to do that. And it's difficult because we're tired, you know, and oftentimes those sessions are at the end of the day when we can fit them in, and people are like, oh, do we have to do a reflection session? But overwhelmingly, when I look at the evaluations, that's always a very positive part of the journey, is those reflection sessions, and everybody in the group helps to participate to facilitate those as well.
Santa Rosa is fertile ground for service learning. Ask anyone who's been here what it's like, and you'll probably hear about hard work, warm people, and new friendships. But you may have to dig deeper to hear the other stories, like those of the women who come to the clinic with black eyes, or the children whose teeth are deteriorating unnecessarily. But those stories are there, and anyone who's been to Santa Rosa has them.
There was a woman, and we were able to understand that she was suffering from depression and that she was having problems at home, and she was really having a hard time, and that we were able to communicate and were able to work with her and encourage her to come to the clinic. And I saw her at the clinic yesterday, and that was one of the most amazing moments that, I mean, she will go with me forever.
It's the last workday in Santa Rosa. This group has been assigned a work project. Work projects have been a staple of the Las Pintas teams ever since the first group built a wall here in 1998. The benefits to the recipient are obvious, but the students will receive a hidden benefit in the form of a boost to their spirits. This is one time they're allowed to break the no-fixing rule, and one time they'll actually be able to see the results of their efforts. Their task today is to paint the house of Don Pedro, one of the patriarchs of the community.
The students really like that because it's something concrete that they can see the finished product. They feel really good, I think, about the health services they provide, but that can be kind of overwhelming because you can't necessarily fix those things, and this is something that they feel that they can leave and will make a positive impact on families.
This week, the Johnson County Community College Health Brigade screened over 1,000 people and treated nearly 800 people in the CIC clinic. But the numbers don't show the true results. The nursing and respiratory care students have become more confident caregivers. Their professors have guided them through the highs and lows of the week and watched them grow. The community of Santa Rosa has come one small step closer to self-empowerment. New friendships were forged, others were rekindled, and as the volunteers prepare to go home, they'll be leaving a part of themselves here in Santa Rosa.
Fue increíble. It was an incredible, incredible week. I came with certain expectations that this experience, it far exceeded anything I expected. I feel very validated in my ability to use my skills to help people, my nursing skills, my language skills. It was a great week.
The one thing that probably stood out for me the most was the last day the clinic was open, and we ended up seeing 100 patients that day total, which was a record. Also seeing the people that day who I had referred in, or as a group we had referred in, actually coming in to get help.
Sounds like it. We've been here for, what, 7 days? And it feels like home. I mean, it feels like a second home. It's so comfortable, and it's been amazing.
Oh, I would say the one thing that stood out was the nature of, I think, what they call La Familia, which is sort of the coming together of the groups in general. I mean, the community comes together and supports itself. Our group came together and supports everything we do. It's an enlightening experience.
The joy, the pure innocence and joy of the children. It's hard to explain other than that. You really have to be here to experience it.
I'm taking so much more home with me than I gave. Working in the clinic, working out amongst the people, I've got to work on just my nursing skills, but the love, the respect, the patience, the generosity of this community has just blown me away, just blown me away.
In the 10 years that teams from Johnson County Community College have been traveling to Las Pintas, much has changed. The community of Santa Rosa, barely out of its teens, has become healthier, stronger, and is on the road to self-empowerment.
This partnership, this venture that we had in common with JCCC have helped the community to develop faster. We could have done it in a long term. And with the programs that we have with JCCC, with the nurses group, the health group, the dental group, or the child development group, has make it shorter. Instead of doing it in a long term, the community has reached its pace faster.
This improvement is reflected in the people of Santa Rosa, who now look to the future with their own hopes for the community.
A mí me gustaría que trajeran actividades para jóvenes, que se involucrara más a los jóvenes, por ejemplo, de 12 a 18 años, algunas actividades. Eso me gustaría verlo, porque vivimos en una comunidad donde no se involucra a los jóvenes y aquí dejan la escuela para irse a trabajar y luego se dedican su tiempo libre a drogas. No hay ningún centro de esparcimiento, ningún centro recreativo para ellos cerca, entonces sí me gustaría que se pudiera integrar a los jóvenes en algo.
Que se implementaran más servicios como agua, luz, teléfono, que se urbanizaran un poquito más para así vivir más cómodamente con todos los servicios.
No, pues a mí me gustaría pues que las personas que reciben la ayuda, no agradecer, o sea, agradecer en esta forma que se integraran al grupo para que, como ya me ayudaron a mí, yo quiero que ayudar a las demás personas.
Me gustaría ver mucha juventud preparada, mucha juventud integrada al centro y que quisieran enseñar lo que aprenden ahí en el centro integral, lo quisieran transmitir a la comunidad.
For the team leaders who've carried the torch for the last decade, the Las Pintas Project has become more than something they do. It's now a part of who they are.
One of the things I like about being involved in this project is that it's very different from what I do back at home on campus. Having a chance to lead a group down here challenges me on many levels, organizationally especially. But coming down here and playing a very different role, during the week that I'm here it's invigorating, it's renewing. There's so much need here in the community, and we're only here for a short time, and we can do as much as we can.
Down there, it's much more relaxed. We're away from all of the comforts of home. We don't have the distractions. And students go deeper. We all do. And you learn a lot about yourself, and you learn about why you're doing things. And you experience emotion and lifelong lessons that you'll carry with you. And that is just a tremendous impact to be able to facilitate that. It happens for me every year that I've gone, but being able to witness it happening in everyone around you is it's powerful, and it's what keeps me doing it year after year.
Toward the end of the week, we were all kind of tired after seeing, now we know, more than 1,000 patients. Some of the health promoters were coming together, and they were preparing what we learned were tamales for our celebration the next day. And many of the students remarked about, gosh, it's so cool to hear them laughing together. And I started thinking back to the first year or two that we came, and there were only 2 or 3 health promoters that were here, and they were kind of tentative and really stayed back when we went out into the community, and they have just blossomed.
For the 2 founders of the Centro Integral Comunitario, the partnership with Johnson County Community College has strengthened their cause and added validation to their decision to serve this community.
I wouldn't be happier doing anything else in the world. My work there has given me a lot of plenitude of my life, and I'm very happy there working with the people.
After retirement of technological education in my country, I have the great opportunity for service in the CIC, and I am very, very happy to do it.